Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the U.E.'s horizon, watching the stars through the large window. His ship was Earth's first vessel, built to meet aliens from other worlds. The horizon was big and strong, with thick metal walls and powerful engines. Jake had been chosen to lead this mission because he was calm and smart. He knew how to talk to people without making them angry. "Captain, we have something on the sensors," said Lieutenant Amy Foster from her station. She was looking at the green screens that showed what was around their ship. "It's big, sir, really big." Jake walked over to look at the screen. There were shapes moving toward them. They looked like ships, but they were different from human ships. These were smooth and curved, like they were grown instead of built. There were 5 of them, and they were coming closer. "Send them a message," Jake said. "Let them know we come in peace." The message went out into space. For a few minutes, nothing happened. Then the alien ships stopped moving. A voice came through the radio. It was strange, with sounds that humans had never heard before. "Unknown vessel, this is Council Mediator Zeth Kara of the Veltan Republic. You have entered Council space. State your purpose." Jake took a deep breath. This was the moment they had all been waiting for. "This is Captain Jake Morrison of the United Earthship Horizon. We come from the planet Earth. We wish to meet with your Galactic Council and join your group of worlds." There was a long pause. Then the alien voice spoke again. "You are ... new to space travel?" "Yes," Jake replied. "We have just learned how to travel between stars. We hope to learn from you and become friends." "Follow our ships," Zeth Kara said. "We will escort you to a safe place to talk." The alien ships moved into a formation around the horizon. Jake watched them carefully. They moved in smooth patterns, like they were dancing. There was something beautiful about the way they flew. "Sir," Amy said quietly, "Admiral Grant's orders were to show them our normal procedures if they asked." Jake nodded. Admiral Lisa Grant had been very clear about this. If the aliens wanted to see how human ships worked, they should not hide anything. Earth wanted to be honest with these new friends. As they flew through space, Jake noticed that the alien ships were scanning them. Green beams of light moved across the horizon's hull. It was like they were taking pictures of the ship. "They're studying us," said Engineer Tom Brady from the back of the bridge. "Our sensors show they're learning about our weapons and shields." Jake was not worried. The Horizon was a diplomatic ship, not a warship. It only had basic weapons for protection. Nothing that could hurt anyone unless they attacked first. "Run a standard system check," Jake ordered. "Let's make sure everything is working correctly." This was normal procedure. Every few hours, the ship's computer would test all the systems. It would check the engines, the life support, the weapons, and the shields. It was like a doctor checking to make sure a person was healthy. Tom pressed some buttons on his console. "Running system check now, sir." The Horizon's raildon turned slightly as it tested its movement. This was a simple magnetic weapon that could fire metal bullets very fast. It was only meant for destroying asteroids or defending against pirates. The gun fired one test shot into empty space. The shields around the ship flickered as they tested. Their power, these energy barriers could stop most attacks. They glowed with a soft blue light as they checked their strength. Inside the alien ships, Zeth Kara watched his screens with growing concern. The readings he was seeing did not make sense. The human ship's test shot had more power than most Council weapons at full strength. The energy from their shields was stronger than anything he had seen before. "Battle Coordinator," Zeth Kara said to his second-in-command, "are you seeing these readings?" "Yes, Mediator. The energy signatures are ... unusual. Their weapon system shows kinetic output levels that exceed our safety protocols." Zeth Kara's 4 eyes widened. In the Galactic Council, weapons were designed to disable, not destroy. Battles were fought with honor and rules. Ships would dance around each other, firing energy beams that would slowly wear down shields. When a ship was defeated, it would surrender and be repaired. No one died unless it was an accident. But these humans seemed to have weapons that could punch holes through planets. Their shields were strong enough to stop attacks that would destroy entire fleets. "Sir," Jake said to Zethkara over the radio, "our system check is complete. All weapons and defenses are working normally." "Normally?" Zethkara repeated. "This is ... This is your normal strength?" "Yes, sir. This is just basic equipment. The Horizon is not even a military ship. It's built for talking, not fighting." Zethkara felt a chill run through his body. If this was their diplomatic vessel, what did their actual warships look like? He had to warn the council immediately. "Captain Morrison," Zethkara said, trying to keep his voice steady, "we will need to examine your ship more carefully." "For safety reasons, of course," Jake replied. "We want to follow all your rules." But inside his ship, Zethkara was already sending a secret message to the council homeworld. The message was marked urgent and sent at the fastest speed possible. "Emergency report to High Council," the message began. "Have encountered new species calling themselves humans. Their technology appears to be designed for total warfare. Single diplomatic vessel carries weapons capable of planetary destruction. Recommend immediate evaluation by War Scholar Division. We may have discovered a species that fights with the fury of ancient gods." Jake Morrison had no idea that his simple system check had just changed the fate of the galaxy. He stood on his bridge, happy that first contact was going well. The aliens seemed friendly, and they would soon be invited to join the Galactic Council. But in the alien ships around them, emergency alarms were sounding. The Council fleet was preparing for the possibility that they had just met the most dangerous species in the galaxy. The dance of diplomacy had begun, but neither side knew the steps. 3 months had passed since the first meeting between humans and the Galactic Council. The Council had been very quiet during this time, which made the people on Earth nervous. They had expected to hear back from the aliens much sooner. In the solar system near Earth, Commander Ryan Phillips was running training exercises with the human defense fleet. Ryan was a tough man who had spent his whole life in the military. He believed that constant training kept his people alive. The fleet had 12 ships, and they were practicing for different types of battles. "All ships, this is Commander Phillips," Ryan said into his radio. "Begin exercise Blue Thunder. Remember, this is live fire training. Keep your safety protocols active." The ships spread out across space in a wide formation. The U-East Defiant and U-East Valor took the lead positions. These were destroyers, built to fight fast and hard. Behind them came the cruisers and support ships. Each vessel was loaded with weapons and ready for action. What Ryan did not know was that 3 alien ships were watching from far away. They had been hiding behind a large asteroid for 2 weeks, studying everything the humans did. The ships belonged to the Council's most elite evaluation team, War Scholar. Nick Stahl sat in the main observation room of his ship. He had studied warfare for over 300 years. His species, the Keth Mori, were known throughout the galaxy for their understanding of military tactics. Nick Stahl had seen every type of battle and every kind of weapon. Nothing should have surprised him anymore. "Begin recording," he said to his assistant. "This is evaluation log 47. We are observing human military exercises." Battle Coordinator. Quinara was in the second ship. She came from a warrior species that had fought in the Great War centuries ago. Her people were considered the best fighters in the galaxy. She had won more battles than any living creature. But watching the humans made her feel afraid. "Look at how they move," she said to her crew. "They do not follow the rules of engagement. They do not announce their attacks. They just ... strike." On the UES Defiant, Captain Lisa Murphy was leading her squadron into position. She had no idea that aliens were watching. This was just another training day for her and her crew. "Target practice begins in 30 seconds, she announced. "Fire." At will when ready. The human ships opened fire with their railguns. Metal projectiles shot through space at incredible speeds. They hit practice targets set up miles away. The targets exploded in bright flashes of light and metal dot inside the alien observation ship. Alarms started ringing. The sensors were overloading from the energy readings. "Impossible," Nixtal whispered. "Those projectiles are moving at relativistic speeds. They could destroy our shields in one hit." "It gets worse," said his assistant, looking at the readouts. "They are using kinetic bombardment weapons. Those are banned by the Council War Accords." Quinara watched as the human ships launched missiles at other targets. But these were not normal missiles. They were nuclear weapons. In the galaxy, nuclear weapons were considered the ultimate evil. They were weapons of mass destruction that could kill millions of people. "They use atom breakers for target practice," she said in horror. "What kind of species does this?" The humans continued their exercise. They practiced boarding actions, where soldiers would jump from one ship to another. They practiced orbital bombardment, where ships would attack planets from space. They practiced using their ships as weapons, ramming into targets at high speed. Every single thing they did was against the rules of civilized warfare. In the galaxy, battles were fought with honor. Ships would challenge each other to single combat. They would use energy weapons that were designed to disable, not destroy. When a ship was defeated, it would surrender and be repaired. War was like a game with rules that everyone followed, but humans fought like they wanted to kill everything. Their weapons were designed to destroy completely. They had no rules except winning. "Exercise complete," Commander Phillips announced. All ships returned to base. "Good work today, everyone." As the human ships flew back to Earth, the alien evaluation team sat in shocked silence. They had just watched 12 ships carry out what they considered war crimes. And this was just a training exercise. Lieutenant Colonel Amy Foster was Earth's liaison officer with the aliens. She had been trying to set up meetings between the Council and Earth's government for months. Today, she received a message that the evaluation team wanted to speak with her. Amy flew her shuttle out to meet the alien ships. She was excited to finally make progress with the negotiations. She had no idea what the aliens had just seen. "Welcome aboard," Nixtal said as Amy entered his ship. "We have been observing your military exercises." "Oh, that's great," Amy said with a smile. "Commander Phillips runs excellent training programs. Our fleet is always ready to defend Earth." "Defend?" Quinara asked. "Those weapons could destroy entire planets." Amy looked confused. "Well, yes, if we had to. But we would never attack civilians. We only fight against military targets." "You consider planetary bombardment a military target?" Nixtal asked. "If there are enemy forces on the planet, yes," Amy replied. "Is that not normal?" The aliens looked at each other. In their culture, attacking a planet was the worst crime possible. It was something that only monsters would do. "Lieutenant Colonel Foster," Nixtal said carefully, "what you showed us today... Those are your defensive forces?" "That's right," Amy said proudly. "Those are just our light patrol ships. Our real military vessels are much bigger and stronger." The silence in the room was complete. The aliens could not believe what they had just heard. The ships they had watched were not even proper warships. They were just patrol boats. And they were more powerful than anything in the Council fleet. "We?" Would like to see your historical records, Pinara said. How did your species learn to fight like this? Amy was happy to help. She brought up videos and documents on her computer. She showed them footage from World War II, where humans had fought with primitive weapons. She showed them modern space battles from movies and video games. This is just fiction, she explained about the movies. But it shows how we think about space combat. We believe in using overwhelming firepower to end fights quickly. The aliens watched in horror as humans in the videos used nuclear weapons against each other. They saw massive battles where millions of people died. They saw weapons that could destroy entire cities. Your species fights wars like this? Nixtal asked. We used to, Amy said. But we learned that war is terrible. That's why we want to join the council. We want to live in peace with other species. But the aliens were not convinced. They had seen how humans prepared for war. They had weapons that could destroy solar systems. They trained their soldiers to kill without mercy. They treated the worst weapons in the galaxy like toys. We must return to the council immediately, Quinara said. This evaluation is complete. Amy was disappointed. She had hoped the meeting would go better. Will we hear from the council soon? Yes, Nixtal said. You will hear from us very soon. As Amy flew back to Earth, the alien ships prepared to leave. They had seen enough. The humans were not just dangerous. They were the most dangerous species the galaxy had ever encountered. The evaluation team's report would reach the council in days. And when it did, the entire galaxy would have to decide what to do about the humans who fought like ancient gods of war. The Galactic Council Chamber was the biggest building on the planet, Kepler 442b. It was a massive dome made of crystal and metal, designed to hold representatives from thousands of different species. Today, every seat was filled. The emergency session had been called after the evaluation. Team returned from human space. Chancellor Vex Mora stood at the center of the chamber. He was tall and thin, with blue skin and forearms. His species had been leading the council for over 1,000 years. He had seen many crises, but nothing like this. Fellow beings, he began, his voice echoing through the chamber. We face a problem unlike any in our history. The species called humans have technology that threatens the very foundation of our civilization. In the seats around him, thousands of alien beings listened carefully. There were creatures with tentacles, others with wings, some that looked like plants, and others that seemed to be made of living rock. All of them were afraid. War Scholar Nixtal stepped forward to give his report. His hands shook as he activated the holographic display. Images of human weapons appeared in the air, above the chamber. These are the weapons we observed, he said. Kinetic bombardment systems that can destroy continents. Nuclear weapons used for target practice. Energy shields that could stop our entire fleet. The chamber erupted in shocked whispers. Many of the aliens had never seen weapons like these. In their society, the most powerful weapons were energy beams that could disable a ship's engines. The idea of weapons that could destroy planets was beyond their understanding. Impossible, called out Representative Thane from the warrior species of Alpha Centauri. No civilized species would build such things. That is the problem, Quinara said as she joined Nixtal. They do not fight like civilized beings. They fight to destroy everything. They have no concept of honor or rules. On Earth, Admiral Pete Collins was in his office when the message came in. He was a gray-haired man who had spent 50 years in the military. He had fought in 3 wars and commanded fleets across the solar system. But he had never faced anything like this. Sir, his aide said, we have received a transmission from the Galactic Council. They want to speak with our leaders immediately. Pete walked to the communications room where Dr. Helen Murphy was waiting. She was Earth's top expert on alien biology and had been studying the Council species for months. Commander Steve Baker was also there. He was in charge of diplomatic relations with the aliens. The screen flickered to life, showing Chancellor Vex Mora's face. He looked tired and worried. "People of Earth," he said, "the Galactic Council has reviewed your application for membership. We have decided that your species cannot be admitted under current circumstances." Steve stepped forward. "Why not?" "We have followed all the procedures. We have shown that we come in peace." "Your weapons are too powerful," Vex Mora replied. "Your military technology violates 17 major warfare conventions and 34 minor combat protocols. You cannot be allowed to join the galactic community as you are." Dr. Murphy spoke up. "We don't understand. Our weapons are purely defensive. We have never attacked anyone." "Your defensive weapons could destroy our entire civilization," Vex Mora sighed. "We have a proposal. It is called the Terran Limitation Accords." The terms appeared on the screen. Earth would have to destroy 90% of its weapons. All nuclear weapons would be eliminated. Human ships could only carry energy weapons. Approved by the Council. Earth's military would be monitored by alien observers at all times. "This is ridiculous," Admiral Collins said. "You're asking us to leave our planet defenseless." "In return," Vex Mora continued, "Earth will be granted provisional membership. You will be allowed to trade with Outer Rim worlds. You will have access to some of our technology, but you will never be allowed into the core systems." Commander Baker tried to remain diplomatic. "Chancellor, surely we can find a middle ground. Our weapons exist because Earth is a dangerous place. We have had to fight for survival for millions of years." "That is precisely the problem," Vex Mora replied. "Your species has evolved to be killers. You see warfare as normal. We see it as barbaric." Captain Jake Morrison had been listening to the conversation from the side of the room. He had spent months with the aliens and understood their culture better than anyone. "With respect, Chancellor," he said, "your species have been lucky. You have lived in peace for so long that you have forgotten why weapons exist. We have not had that luxury." "Explain," Vex Mora said. "Earth is not a peaceful world," Jake continued. "We have predators that could eat us. We have diseases that could kill us. We have natural disasters that could destroy our cities. We learned to fight because we had to. Our weapons are strong because our enemies are strong." General Patricia Williams had been quiet during the discussion. She was the head of Earth's military and had seen more combat than anyone in the room. "You want us to give up our weapons," she said. "But what happens if something attacks us? What happens if we face an enemy that your energy beams cannot stop?" "The Council will protect you," Vex Mora said. "Our combined fleets are more than capable of defending Earth." "Your fleets could not defend themselves against a single human ship," Admiral Collins pointed out. "We saw the reports from the evaluation team. You are afraid of us because we are stronger than you." The chamber on Kepler 442b erupted in angry voices. Many of the aliens were insulted by the humans' words. Others were terrified that they might be true. "The humans are arrogant," shouted representative cliques from the insectoid species of Vega. "They think they are superior to us." "They are not superior," Quinara said. "They are just more violent. They have turned warfare into a science. They study how to kill more efficiently than we study how to live." Chancellor Vex Mora raised his hands for silence. "The Council has made its decision. Humanity has 60 days to accept the Terran Limitation Accords. If you refuse, you will be quarantined. From Galactic Society. No trade, no communication, no contact of any kind." "You would cut us off from the galaxy?" Dr. Murphy asked. "We have no choice," Vex Mora replied. "Your weapons technology is too dangerous to be allowed to spread. If other species learn to fight like you do, It would destroy the peace we have, built over thousands of years. The transmission ended, leaving the humans in stunned silence. They had come to the galaxy seeking friendship and found fear instead. The aliens saw them as monsters because they had learned to defend themselves. What do we do now? Commander Baker asked. Admiral Collins looked at the terms of the accords on the screen. We cannot accept these terms. They would leave Earth defenseless against any real threat. But if we refuse, we will be alone, Dr. Murphy said. Cut off from the rest of the galaxy. General Williams stood up. Then we will be alone. We have survived for millions of years without the Council's help. We can survive without it now. Captain Morrison was not so sure. The galaxy is a big place. There might be threats out there that we cannot handle alone. Then we will face them as we always have, Admiral Collins said. With courage and superior firepower, the die was cast. Humanity would have to choose between giving up their strength or facing the galaxy alone. The Council had deemed human weapons too powerful for civilized warfare. Soon, they would learn why humanity had needed such powerful weapons in the first place. In the depths of space, ancient sensors detected the energy signatures of the human fleet. Something that had been sleeping for 1,000 years began to stir. The galaxy was about to discover that there were worse things than humans among the stars. 6 months had passed since the Council gave humans their ultimatum. The negotiations were not going well. Every day, alien diplomats sent messages to Earth, demanding that humans accept the limitation accords. Every day, the humans refused. Council was growing tired of waiting. Many species wanted to take action against the humans before they became even more dangerous. War scholar Nixtal had suggested that they show humanity the power of the galactic community. If humans saw how strong the Council was, they might finally agree to limit their weapons. Supreme Battle Coordinator Thandal was chosen to lead the demonstration. He was the greatest military commander in the galaxy, a veteran of hundreds of battles. His species, the Morphic, had never lost a war. He was confident that a show of force would convince the humans to submit. Assemble the Grand Fleet, he ordered from his flagship. I want representatives from every major species. 200 ships should be enough to impress them. The alien armada was beautiful to see. Ships of every shape and size came together at the edge of human space. There were crystalline vessels from the silicon-based species of Rigel. There were organic ships that looked like giant sea creatures from the water worlds of Tau Ceti. There were energy beings that flew in ships made of pure light. Each ship was a work of art. The aliens had spent centuries perfecting their vessels. They were designed to be beautiful and intimidating at the same time. When they moved together, it was like watching a dance performed by the gods themselves. On Earth, Admiral Pete Collins received word that the alien fleet was approaching. He had been expecting this. The Council had been making threats for months. Now they were finally ready to act. Sir, his aide said, the alien fleet is massive. Our sensors count over 200 ships. Let them come, Admiral Collins replied. We will show them what human ships can do. Collins had chosen the UES Thunderbolt to represent humanity. It was a single destroyer, not even one of their biggest ships. The captain was Commander Nick Taylor, a veteran of the Mars Colony Wars. He had fought pirates and rebels across the solar system. He was not afraid of aliens. Commander Taylor, Admiral Collins said over the radio, you are authorized to use whatever force is necessary to defend Earth. Show them what we are capable of. Understood, sir, Nick replied. We will not let you down. The Thunderbolt was joined by Colonel Sarah Mitchell's tactical team and Dr. Lavra Reed's weapons specialists. They had been preparing for this moment for months. Every system on the ship had been tested and retested. Every weapon was loaded and ready. The two fleets met in the space between Earth and Mars. The alien armada spread out in a massive formation that stretched for thousands of miles. Their ships glowed with energy, shields and decorative lights. It was meant to be an overwhelming display of power. The single human ship looked tiny in comparison. The Thunderbolt was just a dark metal cylinder with gun turrets and missile tubes. It had no decorative lights or fancy designs. It was built for one purpose: to destroy the enemy. Supreme Battle Coordinator Thandal opened communications. Human. Vessel, you are surrounded. Your planet will witness the power of the Galactic Council. Surrender now and accept the limitation accords. This is Commander Taylor, came the reply. We do not surrender. If you want to fight, then fight. But know that you started this war. Thandal was amused. One small ship against his entire fleet? This would be over in minutes. Begin the demonstration, he ordered. Show them the glory of galactic warfare. The alien ships moved forward in perfect formation. Their energy weapons powered up with beautiful colors. Blue beams, red pulses, green spirals of light. It was like watching fireworks in space, that the first wave of ships attacked according to the ancient traditions. They announced their targets. They fired warning shots. They gave the humans time to surrender with honor. This was how civilized beings fought wars. Commander Taylor watched the pretty light show with interest. Are they actually trying to hurt us? He asked his weapons officer. I don't think so, sir, came the reply. Their energy beams are barely scratching our shields. Well then, Taylor said, let's show them how humans fight. The Thunderbolt's railguns opened fire. Metal slugs shot out at incredible speed, moving so fast they were invisible. The first alien ship they hit simply exploded. There was no warning, no chance to surrender. 1 second the ship was there, the next it was debris. Impossible, Thandal whispered. They destroyed a council cruiser with one shot. But the humans were just getting started. Nuclear missiles launched from the Thunderbolt's tubes. Not one or two, but dozens. They spread out across space, each one targeting a different alien ship. The alien commanders tried to shoot down the missiles, but they were too fast and too many. The nuclear explosions lit up space like new stars. Entire squadrons of council. Ships were vaporized in seconds. This is not warfare, Quinara said from her command ship. This is slaughter. The humans did not follow any rules. They did not announce their attacks. They did not give anyone time to surrender. They just kept firing, destroying everything in their path. The Thunderbolt's particle beam weapons joined the fight. These were directed energy weapons that could cut through any armor. They sliced alien ships in half, like a sword cutting through paper. Beautiful vessels that had taken years to build were destroyed in seconds. Fall back, Thandal ordered. All ships retreat immediately. But it was too late for many of them. The humans had already destroyed over 50 ships. The survivors were fleeing in panic, their perfect formation broken. Commander Taylor watched the aliens run. He had not even used his most powerful weapons. The kinetic bombardment system was still loaded. The fusion torpedoes had not been fired. He had fought this battle with basic weapons and won easily. Should we pursue, sir? Asked his tactical officer. No, Taylor replied. Let them go. They have learned what they needed to learn. Supreme Battle Coordinator Thandal sat in his command chair, staring at the tactical display. Half of his fleet was gone, destroyed by a single human ship. The greatest military force in the galaxy had been defeated by one small vessel. Send a message to the Council, he said quietly. Tell them the demonstration has failed. The humans do not fight like us. They fight like demons unleashed from the depths of space. Back on Earth, Admiral Collins received the battle report. The aliens had attacked with 200 ships and been defeated by one. The message was clear. Humanity would not be intimidated. "Sir," his aide said, "we're receiving surrender requests from the surviving alien ships. They want to discuss terms." "Tell them to go home," Collins replied. "We are not interested in conquest. We just want to be left alone." The news of the battle spread across the galaxy within hours. The mighty Galactic Council had been humbled by a single human warship. Species that had followed the Council for thousands of years began to question their leadership. On the Council homeworld, emergency sessions were called. Some representatives demanded immediate retaliation. Others wanted to surrender to the humans before they decided to attack the galaxy. The perfect order that had existed for centuries was falling apart. Chancellor Vex Mora stood before the chaos, trying to maintain control. "The humans have shown us that they are indeed too powerful for our way of warfare. We must decide what to do next." "We could try to destroy them," suggested one representative. "If we combined all our fleets, double quotes, with what?" Quinara interrupted. "They just defeated our best ships with ease. How many of our people are you willing to sacrifice? Then what do you suggest?" Vex Mora asked. "We adapt," she said. "We learn from them. Or we accept that we are no longer the strongest force in the galaxy." The chamber fell silent. For the first time in their history, the Galactic Council had met something they could not defeat. The humans had weapons that were too powerful for galactic warfare. Now they had to live with the consequences of that power dot in the depths of space. Ancient sensors continued to monitor the energy signatures from the battle. The machine intelligence that had been sleeping for millennia was fully awake now. It had been waiting for the galaxy to show weakness. The time for the next harvest was approaching. The defeat of the Council fleet changed everything. Across the galaxy, species that had lived under Council protection for centuries began to panic. If the mighty galactic military could be destroyed by one human ship, what did that mean for everyone else? On Earth, President Karen Andrews was meeting with her top advisors. The victory had been complete, but it had also created new problems. The galaxy now saw humanity as a threat that needed to be stopped. "The Council species are forming new alliances," reported Commander Tony Clark, Earth's diplomatic advisor. "Some want to unite against us. Others want to surrender before we attack them." Admiral Pete Collins was studying reports from across the galaxy. "We're seeing military buildups in 12 systems. They're trying to copy our weapons technology, but they don't understand the principles behind it." "This is exactly what we were afraid of," President Andrews said. "We wanted to join the galactic community, not destroy it." Dr. Helen Murphy had been working around the clock, studying alien psychology and culture. "The problem is that they see warfare as we see sports. It's a game with rules. They can't understand that we fight to survive." "What do you suggest?" the president asked. "We need to show them that we're not conquerors," Dr. Murphy replied. "We need to prove that our weapons exist to protect, not to destroy." The answer came from an unexpected source. Dr. Murphy's deep space research team had been studying the galaxy's history. They had discovered something that changed everything. "Ma'am," Dr. Murphy said as she burst into the president's office, "you need to see this immediately." She activated the holographic display in the center of the room. Ancient star charts appeared, showing the galaxy as it had been thousands of years ago. "I've been studying the Council's historical records," she explained. "There are gaps in their history. Entire civilizations that just disappeared. I thought it was natural evolution, but I was wrong." The display showed energy signatures from the edge of the galaxy, massive structures that had been hidden in the darkness between stars. "They're called the Devourers," Dr. Murphy continued. "They're ancient machines that harvest organic life every 1,000 years. The Council's ancestors barely defeated them in the last war, But they're coming back. President Andrews stared at the display. How do you know this? Because they're already here, Dr. Murphy said. Our deep space sensors have been detecting their scout ships for weeks. The energy signatures from our battle with the Council fleet woke them up. The room fell silent. The galaxy's greatest threat was not humanity. It was something far worse, something that had been sleeping in the darkness for centuries. How long do we have? Admiral Collins asked. Months, maybe weeks, Dr. Murphy replied. Their main fleet is huge. Thousands of ships, each one the size of a small moon. Commander Tony Clark looked at the data with growing concern. The Council has no idea this is coming, do they? None at all, Dr. Murphy confirmed. Their records were deliberately altered to hide the truth. Only the oldest archives mention the Devourers, and those are locked away in secret vaults. President Andrews made her decision quickly. Get me a direct line to Chancellor Vex Mora. We need to warn them immediately. The communication took several hours to establish. When Chancellor Vex Mora's image appeared on the screen, he looked tired and defeated. The loss of the fleet had broken something inside him. President Andrews, he said formally, have you contacted us to demand our surrender? No, Chancellor, she replied. We have contacted you to save your life. All of your lives. She explained what Dr. Murphy had discovered. At first, Vex Mora did not believe it. The idea that such a threat could exist without the Council's knowledge seemed impossible. You expect us to trust the species that just destroyed our fleet? He asked. You don't have to trust us, President Andrews said. Check your own archives. Look for the restricted files from 1,000 years ago. Hours passed before Vex Mora contacted them again. This time, his face was filled with terror. By the ancestors, he whispered. The Devourer records are real. How did we forget something so important? Because your people wanted to forget, Dr. Murphy explained. The war was so terrible that the survivors chose to hide the truth. They hoped the Devourers would never return. But they have returned, Vex Mora said. Our sensors are detecting energy signatures at the galaxy's edge. Massive ships moving toward the core worlds. How long before they reach the populated systems? Admiral Collins asked. 3 weeks at their current speed, Vex Mora replied. Maybe 4 if they stop to harvest the outer colonies first. The reality of the situation was clear. The galaxy faced extinction, and only humanity had weapons powerful enough to fight the Devourers. The same weapons that the Council had called too dangerous might be the only thing that could save them all. We need to work together, President Andrews said. Combine our fleets and face this threat as one. The Council will never agree to. That, Vex Mora replied. Too many species still fear you more than they fear the Devourers. Then we'll have to convince them, Admiral Collins said. Captain Morrison, are you ready for another diplomatic mission? Jake Morrison had been promoted to Fleet Admiral after the crisis began. He now commanded humanity's entire space force. Despite everything that had happened, he still believed that humans and aliens could work together. I'll take the fleet to the Council homeworld, he said. We'll show them that we're here to help, not to conquer. The human fleet that arrived at Kepler 442b was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. 50 warships, each one bristling with weapons that could destroy planets. But instead of attacking, they took defensive positions around the Council world. Admiral Morrison broadcast a message to the entire galaxy. People of the Council, this is the human fleet. We come not as conquerors, but as protectors. The Devourer threat is real, and it is coming. We offer our strength to defend your worlds. The response was immediate and chaotic. Some species demanded that the humans leave immediately. Others begged them to stay and protect their homeworlds. The Council chamber erupted in arguments and accusations. Chancellor Vex Mora tried to maintain order. But the situation was beyond control. Representatives were shouting at each other in dozens of different languages. Some were calling for war against the humans. Others were preparing to surrender their worlds to human protection. The debate ended abruptly when the first reports came in. The Devourer scouts had reached the outer rim. 3 colonies had gone silent in the span of an hour. The harvest had begun. "The Corinth system is gone," reported Battle Coordinator Queen Aura. "All communication has ceased. Our sensor readings show massive energy extraction from the star itself." The chamber fell silent. The Corinth system had been home to over 1 billion beings. Now it was empty, consumed by machines that turned living worlds into fuel for their fleet. "How many ships do we have that can fight these things?" Vexmora asked. "None," Quinara replied honestly. "Our weapons cannot penetrate their armor. Our shields cannot stop their harvest beams." All eyes turned to Admiral Morrison, who had been allowed to address the council despite the protests of many representatives. "We have studied the Devourer technology," he said. "Their ships are powerful, but they have weaknesses. They rely on energy absorption and conversion. Our kinetic weapons can damage them because they don't use energy that can be absorbed." "You're saying that your excessive weapons are exactly what we need?" Vexmora asked. "Yes," Morrison replied. "The same weapons you called too powerful. For galactic warfare might be the only things that can save the galaxy." The irony was not lost on anyone. The Council had spent months trying to limit human military power. Now that same power was their only hope for survival. "What do you need from us?" Vexmora asked. "Everything," Morrison replied. "Every ship, every station, every resource you have. This won't be the kind of civilized warfare you're used to. This will be total war." Commander Nick Taylor, hero of the Council fleet battle, was given command of the first joint human-alien squadron. His ship, the Thunderbolt, was joined by 12 Council vessels that had been retrofitted with human weapons. "This feels strange," said Lieutenant Amy Foster, who had been assigned as a liaison officer. "A few months ago, these aliens wanted to disarm us. Now they're begging us to teach them how to fight." "War makes strange allies," Taylor replied. "But if we're going to survive this, we need to work together." The first major battle took place at the Vega system. The Devourers had arrived with a harvesting fleet of 30 ships, each 1 mile long and covered in weapon systems that had been perfected over millennia. The joint fleet met them in the outer asteroid belt. Human destroyers and cruisers fought, alongside alien vessels that had been hastily armed with railguns and missile systems. It was chaos, but it was organized chaos. "All ships, this is Admiral Morrison," came the command over the radio. "Remember, the Devourers fight to consume everything. We fight to save everything. Show them what the galaxy can do when it unites." The battle was unlike anything ever seen before. Human weapons tore through Devourer armor, while alien energy shields protected the joint fleet from retaliation. The civilized species of the galaxy learned to fight with the fury that humans had perfected over millions of years. When the smoke cleared, the Devourer fleet was destroyed. But this was only the beginning. The